Hello, this is James here with Bear. I'm from Wild Tales Raw Food Specialist, and if you've got a fussy eater, this video is for you. Actually, I've got the wrong dog here, so this is not a fussy eater at all. Bear, you sit down there. This is a fussy eater. This is Charlie. So, as you've just seen, he eats a treat, but when it comes to his main food, he can take it or leave it. So, the actual solution in one sentence based on actual experience, bearing in mind that we've sold over 1 million meals in the last 5 years and get to speak to our customers like this directly every day, the solution is buy less dog food. Now you might be thinking, is he crazy working in a dog food shop to buy less dog food? But if we explain what's going on and what we've learned, then that'll make more sense. So Charlie is a lovely shape, right? He's nice and lean. That's Bear in the background, grumping because this one's having attention. He's not. So he's a lovely shape, and that's part of the solution. So ask yourself if you're what do some people say? This dog is driving me crazy. They say he hasn't eaten for days. She's so fussy with the food. She'll only eat certain things. I've got to get down on my knees and pretend to be a dog eating the food, or get a spoon out and a spoon. We've heard it all right? Now, but like I said, he's a fuss eater as well, also known as a self-regulator. So he's a lovely shape, and he's full of beans. He's got lots of energy. So that is the answer, the two answers to the two questions that I ask on a daily basis whenever a customer comes in and says, I don't know what to do, I've got a fuss eater. So, has the dog suddenly lost a lot of weight? No. Has the dog suddenly lost a lot of energy? No. Then, if they want to skip a meal, then let them skip a meal. All right? There's nothing to worry about. So, I would caveat that by saying this answer assumes that they're on a good quality food and they're absorbing loads of goodness from it. So, a high quality dry food, or a cooked food which doesn't have too much veg in it, definitely doesn't have any filler in it. We want the dog to absorb a lot of goodness out of their food, and then if they want to skip a meal here or there, they can. It can feel a bit weird if you're used to having a dog like Bear down there, who will never say no to anything, to suddenly have a fussy eater or self-regulator. So what the dog is telling you is they've had enough. Now, they can then confuse you by the rest of the behaviour. So as you saw, he was reluctant to eat his food today, but he certainly is not going to turn down a treat. He's always going to go for, well, if I'm there having my evening meal, he's keeping an eye on me, and he might go for the smellier options out of all the foods that we feed him, because we give him a nice varied balanced diet of lots of different things. And that word smell is really the clue about what's going on. So like a kid who couldn't possibly eat another spoonful of the Sunday dinner that you've spent hours working on for them, making them, putting all that love and attention into it, couldn't possibly eat another spoonful, but then the ice cream van goes past and suddenly they're asking for money for an ice cream. So it's a bit like that with a dog. They might have had enough, but this thing on the end of their face there is in charge. So if they can smell a nice cooked meal, you fill the house full of smells, or those nice treats that are in the cupboard, they're doing their job and they're nice and smelly, or you've gone for a variation of a meal like tripe or fish or something that's really smelly, most dogs will then go, oh, I'm suddenly interested again. So what you mustn't do is, if you've worked hard to identify a varied balanced diet that your dog can have, bearing in mind some of them might have allergies, so you already you can't give them everything, and you've found something that works, it can be very frustrating then to go, well, the dog's not eating it. So, well, they will eat it, and this is the challenge, they will eat it if you've got the patience. Keep asking yourself those two questions. Have they suddenly lost a load of weight? Have they suddenly lost energy? If the answer to those questions are no, then bear with this advice, all right? Like I said, you're not alone. we've got hundreds of customers in this situation, and we've got one right here. So what you'll find is that even though this pattern of behaviour, sometimes they'll eat, sometimes they won't, is quite random through the year, I can tell you now that there are certain times of the year where this behaviour is more prominent than others. All right. So it's been hot recently. So dogs, unlike us, don't have the huge brains which need calories constantly. So they can go when it's hot up to like a third less of what they would normally eat if it was cold to maintain their core body temperature. So if they're missing meals when it's hot, that's almost to be expected. In fact, with Bear down there, who is looking at me, when it's hot weather, I actually have to cut him down. If I feed him the same amount as when it's cool, he will actually put on weight. Charlie is regulating himself. He just won't do it. He won't be asking for extra food. So that's one pattern we see. It would actually surprise you probably if I tell you that the summer when it's hot is not the worst time of year for fussy eaters. It's actually the spring. So we see this pattern over the last 5 years where when their hormones are telling them, okay, it's time to change your coats. Or lots of girls are in season. Lots of boys know the girls are in season. March, April can be the worst time, and a lot of appetites drop off. You going to get down? No, you're just going to look out the window. Right. So the other pattern we see with these dogs is if they're going to skip a meal, they tend to skip the earlier meal, and they'll rather eat later in the evening. So 5, 6, sometimes even 7, 8, 9, 10 at night. That is their preferred time. All right. So that might be ringing some bells with some people watching this video already. So yes, certain times of the year they can be particularly fussy, and certain times of the day they prefer to eat rather than others. For those customers who are raw feeders, like we are, then there are certain meats that I mentioned that they could still go for. But you don't want to. You are ultimately in charge of what they eat, not the dog. So a dog might go for, well, I only want to eat tripe all the time. Oh, I want to eat fish and tripe maybe because that's nice and smelly too. Well, no, stick to your guns. This is what I'll finish with. Stick to your guns. You are in charge, not the dog. Okay. So if they don't eat it straight away, this is what we do in our house. We just cover the bowl back up. We put it back in the fridge, and we walk out. And we defrost less. So coming back to my earlier point, buy less dog food. Now, if you want to continue this chat at all, you can speak to myself or any of the team. We're in Tonreval, CF39 8PG. We are Wild Tails raw food specialists. We have over 100 varieties of different raw meals in the shop, and we've also got some high quality dry food as well, and steamed and tins. But everything you'll find in our shop is grain free, filler free, and we've got enough variety there that to suit any dog, fussy or not.